So, mate, you're going to tell us about a different sort of Australia Day in Ipswich in 1917. What's new?
Yeah, that's right. What's new, what's different, because the 26th of January 1788, as you know, has always been commemorated in Australia. Now, at first it was celebrated in New South Wales, of course, as Foundation Day. Now, following Federation in 1901 and then the Anzac landing in 1915, when Australia first strutted onto the world stage, Australia needed a day. Now, in some parts of Australia, what was called Australia Day sprang up in July 1916 during the First World War. But, Danny, that was just a fundraising day to collect money for soldiers and their families. And in Queensland, it was never called Australia Day anyway.
What was it
instead,
called?
it was called Queensland Patriotic Day. Now, that morphed into Queensland Heroes Day, which was used to raise funds for both the Queensland Patriotic Fund and the Queensland Government's Repatriation Fund. That way, there was support for both soldiers on active service or wounded soldiers, as well as returned soldiers and their dependents, and the dependents of those who lost their lives.
Wow.
Now, Heroes Day was launched in 1917 when the governor, that was Major Sir Hamilton Gould Adams, now it's a mouthful of a name, he performed the opening ceremony at the GPO in Brisbane. He did it with a display of a mile of shillings and 5 miles of pennies. Now, there were enthusiastic Heroes Days collections right across the state on or around the allocated day of the 1st of December. And nowhere was more passionate than right here in Ipswich. Now, a branch of the Queensland Young People's Prohibition League was even formed in the eastern suburbs. And, you know, like in a lot of places, this was in response to the effects of alcohol. It was really hitting hard the returned soldiers and their families. Anyway, their first rally was held in a Bundamba Park, and, of course, the proceeds went to the Heroes Day Fund. And as an aside, the treasurer of that branch was Robert Lupton. Now, he later became the accountant for Ipswich City Council and then the town clerk at Maryborough, where he actually sued the mayor of Maryborough for defamation. Anyway, back to Heroes Day. Now, when metal detecting, I actually found a 1917 Heroes Day badge that probably belonged to former Ipswich school teacher Frank Clausen. Now, I found it at his house at Brookfield. Now, Frank grew up in Bundaberg and Maryborough, and then he taught at Bundaberg, West End, Goodna, Coorparoo, Sandgate, Oakey, Mungar, and at Brookfield, which is where I found his badge. Now, I'll post a photo of it on the History Out There socials for you to see, Danny. Now, the most memorable fundraising effort for Heroes Day in 1917 was also here in Ipswich. That's when 11-year-old Robert Simmons and 8-year-old Kevin McKenna held a concert in their backyard in Martin Street. They charged 1 penny for admission and collected 12 pence. Now, they didn't spend any of it. Instead, they gave it all to the Red Cross for Heroes Day. Isn't that sweet of them? Now, but not all their concerts were as sweet as that day, because on one occasion, they were training up a possum to do tricks, but it got out and a dog killed it, so that was the end of that. And young Kevin might have been seen a little unlucky because he was actually one of 13 siblings. And actually, Robert's family were also a bit unfortunate because his father's butcher shop in Rosewood burnt down, and then the hotel in Miles also burnt down. Anyway, a Heroes Day in Queensland was effectively superseded by Anzac Day and Australia Day. And Australia Day, which is what we have now, that was just a rebranding of Federation Day, which is the 26th of January. And that was taken up right across Australia by 1935 by all the states. And that was in celebration of the landing of the first fleet in 1788. So, Danny, don't let anyone tell you it's a Johnny-come-lately type day. It's been happening right from the start. Just different names, different branding. Speak to the marketing people, they know all about it.
And stop trying to undermine... What's wrong?
Nothing. I was just... I got up the History Out There Facebook page, and I'm having a look at the Brassel Bridge Estate graphic.
And where's Brassel Bridge?
Well, in Ipswich.
There's no Brassel Bridge.
It's called Brassel.
What are you talking about Brassel for? We're talking about Heroes Day.
No, yeah, but remember...
What is he on?
No. Remember Harold said you could have a look at the social media page?
Yeah.
Because he's going to... You put a picture up, didn't you, Harold?
He hasn't yet.
Well, I will. I will.
Oh, you
put
will?
the picture up in the morning. Yeah,
Right.
everything gets posted Sunday mornings. You know that. You're my number 2 fan.
I know, straight after Danny Hoyland.
Damien, come on.
Danny's number 1.
Please.
Yeah.
And notice the time on there.
What?
It's September. Oh, you've gone off it.
Oh.
September the 23rd.
November the
Saturday,
23rd.
November 1918. And look at the time they wanted people to gather. 3 o'clock, which
3
is
o'clock.
different today. You'd do it at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Anyhow, just...
That's the story about Sir James Blair.
Yeah, well, good on him. And
Totally different story, don't I?
Blair State School,
Yes.
where Alfie Langan's got an oval named after him.
That's right.
Anyhow, look, how do we find out about this story in many... That's a really good website, isn't it? Our Facebook site.
It is.
Well, the way you find out is ring Damo. He's all across it. Otherwise, you can go online to historyouthere.com or look across all the socials. There's on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, but historyouthere.com, you'll see all the stories there.
There he
including
is.
this one about Australia Day.
What a great story. Always good local stories. He's running for mayor of Ipswich. He's just got to sign up by the 29th of January. And you'll hear him here about this time each week talking about Ipswich history, historyouthere.com. Harold the H. Peacock